everybody, you are now listening to the Banter All Stars podcast. In this episode, we discuss about our long-term and short-term plans, as well as how everyone consumes their content on the internet. Let's get it. Yeah, okay. We're recording already, so just might as well sit down
10-5.
and record some of this
1,
BT.
10-5.
We'll start with 10. Let's see where we go.
We'll start with 10. All right.
Yeah. Don't get into cameras then.
Yes, Loopmobile will come.
Install a ring.
Hello, Frank Walker. Okay, hey.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of the Banter All Star
yo.
podcast. Man, I had to really slow it down because I wasn't sure where I was going with that. But yes, welcome. Shit.
Now what? How do we segue into it? All right, guys, got a question for you. You might have heard it before, but I was curious. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Ooh, that's a big one.
10. That's a big 10 years.
Yeah, who obviously that's recently sort of come up.
Well,
Well, that always comes up, I think.
yeah, every year.
You sort of reassess, every year.
And why I guess people reassess, or I guess why we have experienced a similar question right now.
Yeah.
It's because, in my theory, right, we've just passed the new year
Yeah.
and people have tried to get their shit together, right? Not only for themselves, but seeing other people as well.
Mm.
And 20 days is kind of enough to say,
To rub off on you.
it's that. And also, okay, I'm ready to make some changes now. And okay, I'm ready to respond to feedback. And so that's why I think the universe has kind of spoken to us. And so,
Well, by the time we actually...
we need to change.
I get you. Because,
20 days is enough time to tried something, looked at
Doesn't
it,
work.
and then, okay, we need to figure it out.
No, because obviously some people have already thought about this long before 2020
Yes,
happened. So
yes.
they probably thought about it in December and have got all this stuff planned. And sometimes they come out with a bang and it's like...
Yeah, but for a lot of people, January 1st is a common start date for a lot of goals and stuff.
Yeah, correct.
Especially 2020 as well.
Yeah, new decade.
Yeah. So, Tommy, next decade,
Next decade, 2030.
2030. Where will
2030.
Tommy
I will be...
be?
I'll be 32, actually. 32.
Still younger than I am now.
Yeah. 32 years old. It's hard to say. Because why it's hard to say actually for me? It's because I have nothing to lead into, right? But I would like to, right? If I'm speaking very optimistically, I would like to be more known for my photography work. And eventually I want to get into teaching photography. So I wouldn't say that taking photos for other people is my absolute number one favorite thing to do. But I do really love taking photos in general. And if I can teach that to other people, then I would love to share that knowledge as well. And so that's why I would say, one of my goals would be if I can sustain a lifestyle in teaching people photography and maybe travel the world as well and still have a pretty good stability out of that, then that's something that I really look forward to doing. Yeah.
So I take it you wouldn't be married? You would be married on the cards?
It's hard to say. I mean, I might be
TL, don't listen to this.
married. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure TL,
Yeah. We'll see, man. We'll see. Yeah, it's so hard to say because we've been together for just over a year now. I would say that's still pretty early stages of dating. 1 year's not too
to
long.
even think about it would be,
I'm not gonna say that I have never thought about it, but it's still early as fuck. So
absolutely.
Well, I got married at 33, 34, so you got time.
Yeah. But how long did you date until you got married?
5 years.
There you go.
Yeah.
You got time.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
it was out of circumstance, I got.
Okay. All right, yeah. But I'll be
I don't.
32.
Well, let's not. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure that okay. Yeah, but that's pretty much me. How are
Oh,
you, Kenny?
fair enough.
Any?
Honestly, I've never thought about what I'd do in 10 years or 5 years. I'm just really concerned with what I'm doing now and what I should be doing in 10 years.
So big 4. Big 4-0.
Look, I guess going by, if I was 40 then I would probably at least like to have a kid, a house, car, kid, I don't know. Maybe not, but I don't know. I'd like to think I'd be pretty well off and, not a care in the world, just doing, just trying new things still, hopefully.
Yeah.
I think learning is always key, and that's why I always try new things out. And I hope that doesn't stop. I think by 40, that's probably my goal, is that whatever I'm doing, I'm still learning something. That's all I have to say.
I like it. Would you almost say in 10 years, if we could all sing congratulations and relate to it?
Like Post Malone.
Made it, yeah.
Yes.
I love that, man. I love that.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Kenny as well, I think. I don't really think that far ahead. Maybe the next 2-3 years, but 10, man, that's a long time. I'll be 33.
33.
34.
Damn,
Tree
son.
Yeah.
I'd like to think something along the lines of, I want to be well known for whatever career like I decide to solidify myself in. Post more regularly on Instagram, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that next
Instagram might be
years.
dead in 10 years. You never know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Whatever platform is the flavor of the year then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, post to MySpace.
Just imagine TikTok is the go-to for news. Like short
Wow.
15-second videos of Channel 9 news.
It's possible. It's
I'm not even
possible.
surprised, man. I might have it next year.
Oh man, don't say that.
Well, you get news faster through Twitter now than actual news.
That's very true.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
Twitter's interesting, man.
Pretty
Like,
You don't need to wait till 6 o'clock anymore.
yeah.
You just get a boom notification.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's it.
Every news is breaking news.
10 years from now for you, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be in my mid-40s. Holy crap.
Ooh.
Shit.
Yeah, so, well, I'm definitely married already. I want to remain that way. Hopefully 2 kids.
Ooh.
And as you've
Boy and
friends
girl.
who's
or-
reading, friends who's actually watching this and listening to this know that I've been, in wedding photography for a while now. Hopefully that continues.
Nice.
But we don't know where the market is heading. But hopefully I can build up a bigger team, because that's one of my goals this year, is actually to build a bigger team, because at the moment I'm getting quite a few bookings. But
Emmy's doing this
the good thing
weird,
is, the good thing is I've got the advantage now that I can pick and choose, because I'm not reliant on that income. So I can pick and choose, and it's passion. But I do feel that if I actually push myself a bit more on the business side, a bit more throwing myself out there, get a few more bookings and weddings, I feel like it's no longer becoming, a hobby or a passion. It becomes a job, and I probably won't like that. So hopefully in 10 years' time, I could probably still be doing some of that, but I can also
Take
have a
step back,
team,
sort
take
of
a step
thing.
back,
Yeah.
and train up the next generation of photographers or whatnot, or give photographers opportunities in the future.
So,
that's,
what
10
would
years.
be your first step to achieving that in 10 years' time? Like,
Well-
what's the seed you plant now to grow that tree?
Oh, I mean, it's way more than just 10 years, I reckon. But in the short term, I'll probably need to, firstly, I need to have the clientele base to support it. And also I need to work hard to actually train people to the style that I like, and to be more consistent. And I've all the weddings that I've done myself, like every single one. I've hand edited every single one of them. But I'm not saying that I don't, but it's actually more of an oversight of the next generation of photographers doing it, and that allows them an opportunity to learn. And at the same time, we can provide a service. I can provide a service which traditionally I just can't if I'm just doing it all by myself. Like my March is crazy. I've got 5 weddings going on, and I'm flying to 3 different places.
Yeah, so you probably
Wow.
need parallel sort of team members to help you be at point A and you're at point C, in another state or whatever.
Yeah,
as well.
but it's also about quality versus you don't want to drop the quality either. So that's why it's a bit of a uncharted territory. But
So
we'll
would
see
the
how it
first step
goes.
for you is figure out how to quality control in that, how do you get a consistent look?
That's
Doesn't
right.
matter who it is
That's
or
right.
what shots it's taken.
That's right. So
Yeah.
I don't think I can step back yet, but in 10 years, perhaps.
Where do you see the wedding photography industry in 10 years?
Oh man, that's another whole episode. Like that.
We've got a whole
We've got
episode.
time. We've got
No,
time.
I reckon. Look, I think right now you can. I honestly reckon if you really wanted, you can just grab a smartphone and actually take photos of a whole wedding. You can probably do it. It won't be
Yeah,
Very
isn't
good.
Uncle Bob and Auntie
Yeah,
Bobette
it's
already
doable.
doing that?
So I reckon if you look at, it's actually very interesting that you asked that question, because 10 years from now, I started photography 10 years ago. So I've actually started doing weddings
Oh,
Shit,
10
you're
years
old.
ago. I am. Actually, I want to thank my one of my old mentors, Jenny. Jenny Wu, who actually got me into weddings. If you're listening to this, thanks, Jenny.
Shout out, props. Bang, bang.
Hi, Jenny.
She got me into my first wedding, and she actually trained me up. And she actually no longer does it anymore, I don't think. But I think she picks up the camera once in a while. But looking at then and looking at now and hopefully looking in the future, the market has changed a lot. But at the same time, it actually hasn't changed that much. You still got people taking the photos, but at the same time, technology has changed so much. Back then, you got digital SLR, and you're actually going to have to know your shit.
Mhm.
But now is actually, you know what? If you spray and pray, 1 out of 10 photos are going to be in focus.
Mm.
Which one?
That's bad advice, bro. That's terrible
Sorry.
advice.
No. Terrible advice.
So what you're saying is it's become easier.
It's become a
to
lot easier.
obviously achieve the photo.
Hmm.
But how does that speak to, let's say, when the bride or groom, they pick a photographer to go with or something like that?
I think it's definitely supply and demand is going to play a big part as well. Like the supply is getting saturated quite quickly now. Like compared to 10 years ago, you can't, to get like top of the range gear, like for example 5D Mark II back in 2009, it cost $5,000. I took out a personal loan at 20% interest to actually fund that.
Fuck.
But well, I took a risk.
Yeah.
And look what that got me now. But
Yeah.
now you can pick up a full frame camera with less than $1,500, and money now is worth a lot less than what it was 10 years ago.
Hmm.
So the barriers to entry is a lot lower now, and everyone can become a pro. Everyone just slap on a lens, and everyone can do it because, like I said before, the camera is so much easier to use now. You don't need to really know what settings it's the most optimal. You just kind of need to allow the camera to do it for you. Like for example, manual focus versus autofocus. How many people actually use manual focus now? Yes, but is it more accurate?
Oh, by the way, I just put up my hand. Yes. It depends on the situation. Low
Yeah.
light, I feel like, depends on the lens as well. Sometimes you might be able to hunt a bit quicker than your
Yeah.
actual camera can
That
see.
I totally agree.
Or, in videos as well, like
Yeah.
rack focusing gives a more, I guess, impact
Mm,
than letting the autofocus motor do its thing.
yeah, I mean, there's some places where you still use manual focus, but for
Mm.
majority of the time, autofocus will be so much faster. You got face eye detect now, so eye detect and face detect's not a thing in 10
But
years
it's
ago.
funny, like you can have all this autofocus
Mhm.
settings or whatever, but like people can still fuck it up.
Yeah.
I don't think anything is at a stage where it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, correct.
But it's already a lot easier now. It's so
Yes,
much
yeah,
lighter.
yeah, that's
It
true.
lasts for ages. Back then, you got like you said, your Nikon had like one autofocus one back then.
Yeah, so no, 3, and they were all
Oh, sorry.
horizontal. But for me, right, it's like because when it's like riding a motorbike, the way I see it is, if you have a 250cc and you couldn't ride it to its absolute limit, why the fuck would you buy a 1000cc? It's such a waste.
Yeah.
So if you're not using the camera's full potential, you should be using a bit lesser, and then once it's like to its limits, then you
Yeah.
upgrade. So like for Tommy, right, he's got a 5D Mark III.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'd say he's at its limits. So nowadays he's actually like it's sort of coming close to its use by date, not use by date, but
End
like
of
shutter
life.
count.
It's
And
death.
I think personally, I think he's ready to move on because his photography is all already like exceeding past the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
That's exactly my point as well. Like camera has improved so much that,
But then when he jumps onto the next one, it's like it unlocks like a whole section for him.
yeah, exactly.
could. Yep.
Mm.
Like 5D2, you can't really recover that much in the shadows or highlights. 1000 ISO 1600, it's already like noisy as hell. But now it's like you don't even think twice, right?
Yeah, I guess what all the cameras in the modern age, after all of this like technology advancement, is it gives us options. It doesn't restrict us to having like darker shadows or like
Yeah,
3 focus points or whatever. Now we've got
Mm.
options to do whatever we want and to achieve the final outcome of whatever we want. And I think that's what makes the craft a lot easier for everyone. Makes it a ton more accessible as well, because all of the good equipment, not great, good equipment is like really cheap. So everyone's getting into.
yeah. So back to my point before,
Yeah.
like in 10 years' time, I honestly do think that there'll be a lot of obviously a lot of photographers, and even phones in 10 years' time will be very, very advanced.
Yeah.
Computational photography. You're already seeing a lot of telephoto lenses. You can have like 5-6 lenses on it, which is coming out next year, this year probably. So I do think that because of that, there will be a shift in the wedding industry. But you know what? I like to shoot it, and I'm quite lucky because I do have a full-time job and I get to pick, and it's actually a passion. And if I feel like I'm not feeling it, or I'm not, with this couple, I'm not really feeling it, then I can say, oh, sorry, but I'm not able to help you. Then I'm at a good position. So in 10 years' time, hopefully I can still have that and also have a team to help and whatnot. So yeah, that's long
Nice.
10 years, man.
It feels like you've got your next 10 years sorted and you've got a goal
Exactly.
or a
So,
direction.
compared to all of us.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
compared to
because
all of us.
I'm older than everyone here, so that's why I have
Yeah,
thought
he's got more
about
tens
it.
than us,
I've
guys.
got
Fair enough.
Yeah, got my house, got my car, got my wife.
Yeah,
Just
you got
missing
more
a kid.
wrinkles than us and more white hair.
Oh, not too sure about
Oh,
that. It's okay.
Damn.
As long as I have hair, I'm still good. You can dye hair, but you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
grow
yeah.
it back.
My dad's always argued that like my uncle would have white hair, still head full of hair. He's like, oh, at least my hair's still black. I'm like, yeah, but you could dye white hair.
Yeah.
And it just shuts him down. Yeah. Sorry, off topic.
Well, okay, you know what? Since we already finished with a 10-year goal, actually, why don't we bring it back closer to reality? How about, well, 1 is a bit too close. How about 3?
3 years time.
3. What do you want to achieve in the next 3 years?
That turns it a bit.
Yeah.
Let's go backwards. Let's go back this way.
Yeah, you start us off.
Yeah, you start us off.
Oh, already? 3 years. Actually, you know what? 3 years will actually still kind of go into my 10-year goal.
Of
I
course.
still want to be able to do. Actually, you know what? No, that's quite interesting actually, because I do want to do more portraits. That's why I hang out with you guys. Do more portraits. Have more time for that. Be a bit more confident in my portrait shooting, because right now, look, quite honestly, I am not as confident. Like, for example, if you put like 2 couples in front of me for weddings, I know what to do. But for portraits, I'm like, oh, can you put your arm here? It's a bit awkward. So I'm like,
Yeah.
so I want to get better at that. So
Yeah.
maybe in 3 years' time, I want to be able to like maybe run a bit more commercial stuff, like fashion shoots or commercial stuff. Like I've done it in the past, but
Architecture, like home and stuff.
yeah,
or...
I'm not too good in architectural, but
Right.
but I don't know, but I want to expand a bit more out than weddings. Like my 10-year goal before was about just business and life and everything, but this is probably expanding and just
like the immediate wants sort of thing.
give it a try. Give it a try. If you don't try, you never know.
Correct.
So give it a try. So I'll probably
100% of the
shots you don't take
are.
missed.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it was longer than that, but sorry.
But you missed 100% of shots you don't take. What's that? What else is that?
Other shots you miss.
Oh.
Yeah. Nah, it's right. You got it.
Yeah, don't worry. It means the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Anyway.
It's all good, bro.
Anyway,
So-
your 3 years, what are your goals?
Well, my goal is to, get into the commercial side of stuff. Maybe do a bit more commercial photography. Probably a bit more videography. I do like videos. I've been doing videos for a long time, but nothing too much. Nothing outside weddings too much.
Yep.
So maybe do that. I'm quite impressed with your the mid one that you did right there. That looks pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, you might be, but I still feel like it's not 100%.
So is that curve? So where are you at that curve?
I think if I put it in a bit more effort in the planning and stuff, and maybe got a bit more of a brief, it might have been a bit different. But it certainly wasn't like, it's not a work that I was super proud of. But it did meet all the criteria. So that was what was most important, is that it did its job and it met everyone's expectation. So
that's good.
yeah, maybe I'm just being overcritical about myself with that. So
well, you do set a pretty high standard for yourself. So
sometimes.
some things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sometimes.
over to you, Kenny. How about just bounce it
How
to
about
you?
you, Hamid? Oh, actually. No,
No,
wait,
bounce to Kenny,
Kenny?
right?
Yeah, Kenny.
3 years.
All
Come on, you put me on the spot. Come on.
right. So my
3 years.
I think my immediate wants actually is food photography in the product sense, like light setups, decorate it into themes. So if there was a cake, maybe have some nice pastel colors, or like if it's lollies, have like a lot of Skittles around, or I don't know, it's just something like that. I want to like, because to me, while it seems like work, it still seems very creative. Like the set design, the products, how it's placed, the lighting, and all that. The one reason I don't get into weddings is because most of that stuff is already set by the bride or the groom, like the location, the dress. You're very limited. So I think that's why it narrows the creativity down a little bit as well. I've always thought with weddings, like it's a set formula. Yeah, there's always specific shots or angles that you get. And then after a while, it starts grinding down on you a little bit. Which, I mean, I could be wrong because there could be, various ways of doing things. There are some creative wedding photographers that do very well in other out of the ordinary shots. So that's my immediate, I guess, 3-year plan is we'll try and get into food photography.
Food photos.
Yeah. So I think my first step would be to really just start doing it at home, maybe cook a nice dish.
Oh, wow.
And then
Let me know when. I'll come over.
Yeah. Why don't we let us know?
it might look
We'll come over.
aesthetically pleasing, but it might taste shit.
So can we all come over and we'll just
Chef
try?
Kenny.
Sure. Why
I'll
not?
take photos of it.
I'll just sous vide everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and that's the other thing. I want to do more food videos as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good food, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think food is such like a source of happiness.
It really is.
Coming up to Chinese New Year, I mean, that's what Chinese celebrate, right? Just come
Oh,
together
yeah.
and eat.
Lots of food.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you could speak to anyone and they'd be like, I don't like food.
You're just alive, right?
Yeah. I guess some people place different priorities.
Yeah,
like
I
maybe
guess that's a
food
good way to
is,
put it,
yeah.
Yeah.
Get Hamid to hook you up on some food shots, eh?
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Stalker
Go do
space.
Huh?
Just hit up Stalker space.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't think that was a one-off, right? It's not like they always have job posts.
No, we should just totally go to a cafe sometime and
That would work.
Just start breaking up games without
bring out
consent.
the light boxes.
Just like, oh, you're getting free exposure.
Just use these light boxes here. Okay, so who do you nominate next?
Let's go Hamid.
All right.
Let's do the crisscross.
Thanks for neck nomming me.
Neck nomming.
Do you guys remember neck noms?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No?
I think it's just
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe it's a 20-year-old thing. Oh, man, I can't even say that anymore, man.
Oh, man, don't worry.
Okay.
It wasn't that. that was too long
What
ago.
were neck noms, Tommy? I vaguely
It
remember.
was like it was a Facebook trend, I believe,
Yeah.
but I don't actually remember what the challenge was.
I think you scull a drink or something. Or was that something else?
One of the really big ones was the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ice bucket, I was
but
gonna
that's
say.
separate from neck noms. Neck noms was before that time.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. I never did my ALS. Maybe I should do it
Oh,
now.
yeah? Oh, I should have
Yes.
donated.
Sounds good.
But anyways, my 3-year plan or goals. I think so. I want to do a lot of traveling.
Hey,
I haven't done a lot of traveling in the
Sweet.
past year.
Highly recommended.
So the travel
Highly
bug is
recommended.
itching. And I think as I do that, I'll naturally be photographing more because you're in new environments. You're like, oh, this is new. But I also want to start doing videos a bit. Like not even professionally, just travel videos, like even vlogs of where I go. Whether I be in them or not, that's a different story. But I do want to try out videos because I think it's just you can tell a lot more within a video.
correct.
Yeah. Than a photo. Not to say a photo you can't say much, but so I think it's just improving on my photography, posting more. I think I've said that a couple of times.
yeah.
Making videos and traveling. I think they all go well, hand in hand together.
Definitely recommended. Since I was telling you before, I traveled
Yeah.
to Japan for a year and traveled to Malaysia for a year.
Mm.
I reckon during those times, I discovered photography in Japan. Like I started with my Fujifilm F30 and I got my first Canon 450D in Japan. But when I was in Malaysia, all I was using was my phone and it was really good. And I actually got a lot of photos out of that and it's actually very memorable. So maybe you can look into that.
Definitely.
Nice. So that's a really big, like, I guess, creative pursuit for you in the next 3 years is to not only push like your photography, but also like getting into video as well. And then also a personal goal for you would be to like traveling, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, man.
Do you know where you want to go?
Well, believe it or not, I still haven't been to Japan.
Okay.
Well,
So-
Oh, cheers.
That's usually a good start in Japan.
It's a good start.
It's a very
Yeah.
good start.
It's hard because I think I'm at the stage where all of my mates have either been to Japan at least once or multiple times.
Mm.
So if I go back with them, they wouldn't want to do the first time things that I
But
would
do you
want
want to do the first time things?
Oh, I feel like you have to tick those off the list eventually.
that's
right?
fair.
Yeah. Well, what are first time things? I
In
don't
Japan?
know much.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
like
Karaoke
Robot
bars.
Cafe, Akihara, you know. all that
It'd
sort
be
of
like
stuff.
your, the orange shrines, the gates.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
that.
Torii
It'd be
gates.
like maybe Mount Fuji.
The
It might
bamboo
be
mountain, bamboo
Hakone.
forest.
Oh yeah, yeah. I wouldn't do like
Nara.
all the really first time things, but a lot of like the top 10 in each city or something.
So
top 5.
yeah,
I'd do.
okay, I see.
Can I also
Yeah.
suggest something, Hamid?
Yeah.
Actually, I reckon the best way to travel is just get a backpack and travel yourself.
Oh yeah.
Solo.
It's
I have
actually
done
the
that
best.
before,
It's
yeah.
actually the best travel. Like you don't have to. You can go wherever you want, whenever you want, however you want.
Wake up whenever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
True.
go to the toilet whenever you want.
Well, don't.
Yeah.
don't are you
I
being
mean,
restricted?
yeah, are people holding you back at the moment? Do you need to go
No,
now?
no, no.
He needs
Like, you know what I mean?
permission.
Like some people would be like, "Oh, I need to take a shit," but I don't want to hold everyone up. I'll just wait and hold on to it.
Oh man, fuck that.
I was just
I'm
saying,
dropping
as
them.
a solo travel thing, you can.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
could
well,
just
Drop
do
it
whatever
anywhere you want,
yeah.
like on the side
Yeah.
Or
streets.
even
like
wake
those-
up whenever you want.
like mainlanders.
Yeah.
So Tommy, how about yourself?
3 years. On the same vein as Hamid, I also want to do a lot more traveling and photo and video actually. Quite similar. One of my big video goals this year is to put out a YouTube video once every week. And I'm assuming that, through like little like 1% improvements, I'm going to improve by the end of the year. And so I'm actually really keen to see how I improve. I don't actually have like written goals or anything on like what I want to improve on with my YouTube or anything. But my only goal is like a number goal for that, which is to post one every week. With my photos, to be fair, I do want to do less client work if that's possible. And I want to keep up or try to do a lot of like personal stuff, which I already am doing. Because that's what I enjoy about photography. If I was doing more client stuff, I feel like I might lose some of the passion there, which I would not like to like do, right? Like, I would like to continue to do like this craft because I like to do it for that reason, which is to take photos.
You're right, because I get people that want to pay, but I kindly turn them down because I feel like whatever they want me to do, the concept, it's not something that I'm passionate about
Yeah.
or creative about. And I
Yeah.
don't want to be delivering work that is based on a monetary value.
Yeah.
Rather than like a pureness of creativity or a passion.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
deep.
would you be able to, let's say you like in that circumstance when you don't really feel for projects that the client wants, have you ever thought of asking them, well, can you give me a bit of creative reign so I can actually earn work towards something as well? Because I find that sometimes you can negotiate. Like for example, like for me, I've been there, done that for all the wedding stuff, right? We got burnt out like the first 3 years of doing it. We got burnt out hard, and I didn't touch my camera at all for like a year and a half. When I was in Malaysia, I was just using my phone. But then after I picked it back up again, when I had creative freedom again, I was doing it. So that's why now when I go do weddings, I actually do it like I get to choose and pick. And I if I'm not connecting well with the couple, then I'm like, sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So perhaps you can think about that.
Yeah, I guess I got to be a bit more open-minded about it. But 9 times out of 10, it's always about neons.
Oh my god, I saw your
neons.
Facebook post. There's even someone, hey, do you do neons?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I can't believe someone asked that.
Do you do neons, kid?
No, actually, is my friend. So he,
yeah, it's a troll.
he
Shouldn't have.
knows. Yeah.
I don't think I've actually shot neons properly before ever.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well, let's find a night and do it.
Yeah, just do it. I could even show you how to.
Even better. Well, we're coming up to the halfway point for episode 6. So is there anyone that wants to add anything?
3 years and 10 years. Are you guys gonna write down your goals?
It's already written right here.
Are you gonna review it?
Are you going to watch this over and over again?
Every year.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You heard
Alright.
it first.
We'll catch you
Take
after
a break
the break.
now.
Every 22nd of January.
Hey everyone, if you're not already following us on social media, make sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Banter All Stars. Yo, so Tommy,
we do a better intro. We can do better than that.
yeah, you reckon?
Okay, come on,
Right
Tommy, you
now?
do it. You do it.
What
Alright.
about this as an intro?
All right, guys, welcome back to Banter All Stars.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're watching this, it's probably on YouTube, and we have a Spotify as well. And I guess I wanted to ask you guys, besides us, obviously, what other media do you consume? What kind of content do you watch? Who are your favorite content creators? Big channels, small channels?
Actually, how do you get your news?
Mm.
Facebook.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right, actually.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Facebook, I think, is my last source of, information.
Are you on Facebook often?
Not often, but
Yeah.
but I feel like it's just a lot of crap.
It is a lot of crap. A lot of fake news out there.
Exactly.
I think the problem with Facebook, right, is that the algorithm, it sort of funnels you towards what your friends' views are as well as your own views. So it generalizes the news that it shows up with you.
It's a biased.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the great conspiracy with Donald Trump being elected and whatever. Like,
Yeah.
there was a lot of people that thought, oh, everyone's going for Trump, or like everyone's going for Hillary, and that's why all the news is like funneled to that. But the reality is it could be like the flip side, and you never
Absolutely.
Something that's actually a bit more recent is like, don't flame, no one flame me for this, by the way. Like, for example, you know how the Hong Kong protests, right? Like everywhere you go, everywhere, like all that stuff, like every friend you've got that's from Hong Kong, they'll post something up, and you've got protesters and everything. It seems like it's hell over there. But when I was actually there, it's actually quite localized to a few hotspots, but then everywhere else is actually relatively safe.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, there's places that you definitely don't go, and people will warn you, hey, there's activity there, don't go there. And they shut the MTRs, they block it off and everything. But everywhere else, like especially the residential areas, is actually quite okay.
I even heard this news, right? Apparently, there were dead bodies from the protests that were thrown off the roof, and they claimed it as, there was a suicide. And then when they landed, obviously all the blood's already gone because they're dead. So when it splat.
Oh,
But I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
wouldn't an autopsy report already tell you how they died? Like,
Well, it was never held, was it?
yeah, I don't know. It's one of those conspiracy theories.
So
but-
Facebook for you.
Yep. And news app.
Nice segue.
Thanks, iPhone, for the news app. I guess that's where I get all like the Australian media
Hmm.
Interesting.
and all the
What about
all
you,
the,
Kenny?
all the weather reports.
I actually get my news sent as notifications somehow. I think I signed up somewhere on Google Chrome, so it'll send me like
Oh,
Australian news or relevant news.
Yep.
Google is watching.
Google is watching.
That's one source. Generally at work, like they will have news running 24/7.
Mhm.
So when you're running at into like the kitchen area to get a coffee or whatever, like it'll just repeat the news for that day, or like I'll probably just stand there. If not, somebody will tell me, "Oh, did you read this news?" Or I go into Banter All Stars, they might tell me something. Like,
Hi, guys, you hear what happened?
oh yeah, oh my god,
What?
yeah. But I don't know. YouTube is probably, again, YouTube I feel like is targeted news, so you don't actually get the full broad spectrum.
That's very
Mm.
true.
But I feel like because I have those news notifications, and luckily I do click on them like a dickhead.
Click.
My YouTube actually shows the same news as well.
Mm.
Mm.
Interesting. So I want to touch on something before I go to how I get my news. You mentioned you get notifications for news.
Mm.
I'm not saying you're guilty of this, but I know a lot of people who they get their news out of just reading headlines, which I think is something that Facebook might have contributed to. You see a lot of people commenting, you see something. So an example is yesterday. I don't know the full story.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
The
Is it-
SpaceX thing.
Elon Musk. Yeah.
So they launched, I think, a rocket to test like an emergency procedure. So it was
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
it was meant to blow up, but then 7 News, which is a news channel here in Australia, set the title. It was, I can't remember the exact words, but it made it look like it blew up.
Like as an accident.
Yeah. Luckily, all the comments were like, "Oh, you guys are idiots! Like you're making it look like it was an accident." So it's funny. I feel like that can contribute to that. So for me, I find out about things through things like Facebook. No shame there. Twitter, Insta stories, even. But then I tend to delve into more credible
The details.
sources to find the actual facts of how
Such
it
as
happened
Batuta
and all that.
Advocate.
The Onion.
No, but furthermore, I wanted to add, like,
Yeah.
you know how there was an artist impression of Australia from outer space and like all the hotspots of the bushfires and stuff. So that somehow got circulated around and
Yep.
exploded. And then I think it made it on BBC News and said like, oh, this is the bushfires happening, NASA images, blah, blah, blah. And then like that started a whole trend of now Instagram actually removing or blocking profiles that have photoshopped images as fake facts.
Yeah, I read about something about that.
Yeah, I know exactly the photo you're talking about.
Yeah. But people get super triggered about that. Like they don't read the actual details or like check the credibility of the source. And I guess as with anything on any sort of digital platform, you really gotta, I guess, take it with a grain of salt because some people don't do their own fact check. Like I see a lot of blogs, they don't do fact checks or history checks of how it actually happened and stuff. So
yeah. I mean, I feel like it's almost like a Venn diagram. There's what people want to see, what there actually is. There is a small intersection that actually gets reported correctly, but there's a lot of like separate stuff there. Yeah.
Opinion pieces.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, because I guess like now there's a lot more to news than just news.
Yeah.
News is a business.
Yeah, exactly. They need to make money.
Yeah.
News.com.
Well, I reckon for me,
I think he didn't even actually go into how you get your news.
No, I mean, no, that's how I do it, right? So I get like, I find out that things have happened through social media, actually, funnily enough. And then, I do the full analysis. If I feel like it
seems plausible.
No, not even seems plausible. Like, I might come off as being shallow, but if it affects me or if I care about it, I'll dig into it. If it's just some random news that I'm not.
So do you feel like the algorithm always targets to something that you care more often than not?
On Facebook and social media sites, probably. I use like the ABC News app. I'd like to think that that's a bit less bias. It'll just give me like things.
I like ABC News. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah. But having said that, like, how often are we on news apps for the whole day compared to social media sites?
I'm probably more on WhatsApp.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I saw something. I also get my news from Reddit.
Oh, that's true.
Reddit is
actually pretty good.
Where
Reddit
I can see. I think it's quite factual. Like it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I probably would take my Facebook comment back. It's probably more Reddit. Yeah.
No. I mean, since I'll talk about mine as well because mine touches on Reddit as well. And funny enough, I got another few apps. But similarly to Kenny, I actually got. I think maybe it's a Google thing. I got Google Now. When I swipe left on my home screen, I actually see all the news and I just refresh it and it just comes out all the new ones. And some of them are quite factual, some of them and it's actually tailored to what I like. Like for example, cameras and stuff, it will always have like Canon rumors and all that stuff. It's all have it.
Yeah.
But it also have breaking news or Australian news or worldwide news. Some of them may be real, some of them may be fake, but more often than not is relatively quite factual. But of course, take it with a grain of salt, and I'll go and go do my fact finding like Hamid. But then the thing is, right? It's funny that you mentioned. I don't use Facebook as often, but it's funny that you mentioned that use Reddit. The reason I like to read Reddit as well sometimes is because I won't be the first person to hear of the news, and there'll be a bunch of flame boys and people who's already criticized it and shut it down like a million times,
and that's when you know it's real.
And that's when you know that when there's actually backed up and people like arguing about it, then you can form your own opinion. Then you can see both sides of it instead of just one person in one media outlet reporting in one article. So that's why I read it.
Oh, well, sometimes I read the comment section.
Yeah, that's right. But it's the same thing. Same kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
like, and another thing that I use is 9gag. Does
Wow,
anyone use
that still
9gag?
exists?
Do you use
Yeah.
9gag?
That's still around, man. I used it like 10 years
I didn't
ago.
know they had
Never even used it.
news.
No, so it's totally not news.
Oh,
Totally
okay.
not
I
news.
see what you mean now.
So
Okay,
it's like
go on.
every night, just before I sleep, at least 15 minutes, I will just scroll through and I'll start falling asleep. But 9gag, it gives you that like kind of news, what's happening, like memes and everything. Like,
The memes,
like all the stuff. So you
Yeah,
kind of
news
keep up with it,
memes.
like what's the latest meme and how it plays out and something so for example, like you get just some random meme, but then you don't know how it actually relates.
And then you
but
look it up.
You kind of see it,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, okay. And then someone's like, oh yeah, Trump 2020, or it's like, or like someone for like 2020 or whatever, and you're like, oh, I didn't know he was running for president, and you actually kind of dig into it and it actually leads into a bit more. So it's kind of quite interesting, but I think ultimately we all get our sources the other way. And since we already touched on news, what did you want to say, Ken?
Oh, I wanted to say, did anyone of you guys use Flipboard?
I used to use it, Flipboard, but I find it's a bit slow to load.
I think it was more, again, it was more of a curated style thing. Like if you were only subscribed to this, then you'd only receive news for that.
Yeah.
Remind me again, Flipboard's when it collects all your social media.
So it's like an RSS feed sort of thing. And basically it like some boards are curated by people. Oh. And then say like if I'm interested in motorsports, if I'm interested in sports, if I'm interested in you just world news, RSS feed. Yeah, you press that and then it's like a curated feed and you keep flipping until you want to read something.
Yeah, I think I know why I stopped using it. First, it didn't refresh fast enough. And secondly, once I clicked in a topic, either it doesn't update fast enough or there's a lot of multiple duplicate articles from different outlets reporting the same thing.
Yeah.
And then once I read it, I didn't want to do it anymore. And it's hard to get to where my Google now is just...
Is the display of Flipboard like one article?
Yeah, you can't flip. Can't flip.
If you went into the feed, but the main menu will have all your subcategories and all that.
Because I remember I used to use a Chrome extension, which played with RSS feeds, and I could have all of the different media providers and publications and articles, and then I can see them all on like my homepage in a new tab. So one click and I can see all the news.
So... Well, after, we talked about news, let's talk about like YouTube. Like everyone goes to YouTube. This will be on YouTube, Banter All Stars on YouTube.
Yeah.
Who do you subscribe to YouTube to get your your photography, camera, photography, creative fix?
Actually,
not like random crap. We all talk about random crap and watch random crap, but photography stuff.
I really like a few different channels. I like the channels that like to talk about the philosophy of photography and like the style photography. So I don't really subscribe to the reviewers.
Yeah.
Like photos and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like
photo.
Yeah. But I really like the channel called The Art of Photography.
Yeah.
Right.
I forgot the guy's name, but he talks about the classics and like the masters of like traditional photography. And a lot of it is like super translatable to like, how people want to shoot for Instagram today. It's like very similar. And I find a lot of entertainment value in that channel.
Right.
So that's a really big photography channel that I subscribe to.
Cool. How about you, Kenny?
I don't actually have like in terms of photography and videography. I think for me, it's when I want to create something, a specific thing or style that I want to do, or like how do I do a specific thing. I then go do the YouTube search, the general search. So I don't really actually. Like, I know it's bad, but like subscribe to any major like photography channels. Cause like, I don't know, I want to create and I want stuff that's relevant and applicable straight away that I could just use it straight away. Whereas there's some stuff that you watch and I feel like maybe my time could be better used in more like like you said, philosophical. Philosophical.
Yeah.
Channels. So that's why I tend to lean towards podcasts as well, because I could hop on a train, listen to podcasts, or like while I'm working, because at work I'm allowed to like listen to music and stuff. I just choose to listen to podcasts and stuff like that.
Do you do that often?
Yep, all the time. So
is there some good podcasts then that you can recommend our listeners?
Well, Banter All Stars is.
Oh, really? What's that?
That only lasts 40 minutes.
The other ones are like Business of Hype. So like it's a Hypebeast radio channel. Basically, Jeff Staples from Pigeon. He'll talk to all these famous streetwear owners who started from nothing, or how they went about dealing with their businesses. Or say, for instance, Blapchat. So this is a podcast done by Illmind, who produced music for like the likes of J. Cole, Drake, and all that. He teaches music producers the way of business and like how he hustles, and provides advice on basically networking, or how you remain hungry, or like how do you maintain like a balance between knowing people and knowing the right people, or spending time in working on your craft and stuff like that. And the alternative podcast that I listen to is Genius Brain by David So. Like he talks more, I guess he goes in areas where people are afraid to talk about because of PC-ness, or in other words, political correctness. So yeah, they're the usual three, and then like I could go on for
Yeah,
ages.
of
Like
course,
there
of
is a
course.
lot of podcasts that I go through.
Cool. So you're more of a podcast person. Then.
Correct.
And Hamid.
All right. So when it comes to photography, I guess I do photography for fun. It's a hobby. It's a passion. So I don't watch that many, I guess, serious photos where people go into, the technicalities of this lens versus this lens or which camera's best. I really enjoyed Digital Rev.
Yeah.
Is that what it was called back in the days?
Digital Ref TV with
Yeah.
Kai.
Yeah, but Kai's moved on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes solo videos now. I
Yeah,
watch them
yeah.
every
Kai
now
W.
and then. It's really entertaining. Like his videos are more about just him doing random stuff, and then he brings in the camera.
Yeah.
Like he fits it in somewhere,
Mm.
rather than just going, the video is about this camera, and then let's do stuff about it. Which I find really entertaining. So it doesn't feel like you're watching something that's just like information just being spat out at you. So that's probably the extent of my like actual photography based videos I watch on YouTube. Do we consider vlogs like photography, vloggers and stuff?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Well, which
Yeah.
vloggers are you
Which
talking about?
vloggers? Yeah.
I am
Tommy
a
K?
big fan of Tommy.
Tommy.
TK.
Tommy and Kenny I'm subscribed to. Mark Weens. I absolutely love that guy.
yeah.
Like
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit more about?
yeah.
What's this?
So he is a food blogger as well. I think he actually has a website and he writes stuff, but he is just, I don't know if you've seen his videos like me, but he's just like the most wholesome guy. You watch his videos, you can tell it's just genuine passion in there. He's not faking anything, and he just goes around the world, tries different food, but it's not like going to, fancy restaurants. He's just trying street food.
Nice.
And he loves his spice, so he'll go to like India, Pakistan, have the spiciest food, and he'll be okay with it. I don't know how he holds up after, but that they probably don't show that stuff on camera. But it's great to see. Obviously he goes around, records everything. You get to see a bit of how he records. Like he gets other people to record bits. He edits them really well. Like you really feel like you're there with him. He's got drone shots in there. He gets nice and low with the camera, POV sometimes. Like it's really entertaining to watch.
What's POV?
POV,
Oh, POV.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I heard
Like from
POV.
his point of
Yeah,
view.
yeah, yeah.
not poverty.
And I guess it combines, like photography and food,
Yeah.
which are two things that
Yeah.
I guess not just me.
He's
most
actually.
people like.
You're right. He has a blog,
Yeah.
a website, and I've checked it out. He does some pretty good photos as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does some pretty good photos.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think it's just snaps of like food and stuff.
With
Obvi-
iPhone?
No, obviously it's a DSLR or like a mirrorless or something. But like, yeah, I can attest to that. His food videos are amazing. Very entertaining, easy to absorb. Doesn't feel too professional, but it's like, wow, this is like great content.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think like to sum it up, right, it's it just reminded me of this thing, like people remember how you made them feel, not what you said or did to them. And when you walk Mark's videos, like you just genuinely feel happy because he's
Wow.
happy
Yeah.
as well, right?
It's like when you watch Casey Neistat, I guess.
Yeah.
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 I guess he's like very mainstream now, but when I used to watch him, it was like, wow, this guy he could turn such a normal day into a happy day.
Yeah.
And naturally it gives you a bit of that sense of, wow, my normal day can be happy too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then you go back to work.
Well, I guess how you see it, like I actually kind of like my job, so
I enjoy my job
I remember
too.
when I was in uni, I would like eat my lunch while watching Mark Wins, like eat
Oh,
his
really?
food.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, Mark Wins is like top notch content.
Man,
Top
yeah.
notch.
Well, to wrap up, I think for myself, I'm actually totally different to all you.
Really?
I'm actually a bit of Kenny when I need to do something,
Yeah.
then I find out something, then I'll search directly for it like everyone does. But I actually watch all my tech stuff. Like
Yeah.
I got like Max, I got Manny, I got like Jason, and I got like Jared and Dunn. I got photos.
I'm
Just my
gonna pretend
subscriptions.
like I know half of it.
First name basis.
all I do is just look at my subscriptions and like multiple times per day, and I'm like, have you posted something? Have you posted? Oh, and Tony as well. Don't forget Tony. Good old Tony. and I would actually just watch it, and I actually really do enjoy watching it because I feel like the more I know about cameras, I'm a tech guy, so I like technology. So if I like it, then I can start saving up.
Yeah, you're more knowledgeable about it.
But that was quite interesting before because I think something that jogged my memory that relates to before our break, or was it the previous episode, like what you want to do. Something that I actually want to do in this next year is to start a semi-gear review channel.
You totally should. We've been telling you this
I
the whole
know.
time.
The whole banter group has been telling me to do it. I've got all this gear here. I want to do it. So
yeah. So for those who don't know David well enough, he has an extensive collection of camera equipment.
Extensive is an understatement.
A lot.
Yes.
Yeah, he's basically got a whole armory. And he always buys the latest and the greatest, and he does very detailed reviews, but he doesn't share it with the rest of the world. He only shares it with us. And I feel like that is such a waste because like most YouTubers, when they do gear reviews, the hardest part any of them will tell you is having the latest gear because it's out of their own pocket.
Yep.
They're not sponsored at that time, and you have this opportunity where you're spending that money, and I feel like you can actually turn that now into something that will cost you less and still get new gear.
Yeah, well, that's something that I'll look into my 1 year goal. Hey.
Nice.
Love it.
So
That
spend
is
a bit more.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
episode. Yeah.
Well, anyhow, I think it's coming up to our end of our second episode for tonight. Well, our sixth episode now, actually. Does anyone have anything to add about who they want to subscribe to and where they get the news from?
Oh, David, when he opens
I'm gonna
up that
subscribe
channel.
to David.
Honestly, yeah.
Hey, so it's
Lamy
pretty-
photos.
I
Good
haven't
reviews.
thought about the name yet, but I was thinking about Lammy's 5-minute quickies, like just 5 minutes. That's all I need. I mean, the
Maybe
channel.
reword the quickies bit.
No, because
I think it's intentional.
that's intentional. I want to keep it short and sharp, and just give you the news you need. That's it.
Do you
Nothing.
think you could keep it
Send
under 5
news.
minutes?
That's another question.
Because I mean, like Peter McKinnon does 2-minute Tuesdays, and they always end up being 18 minutes long. So
No, because I can't sit through 18-minute stuff. But anyway,
no,
that's
but you can watch it at 1.5 times.
We'll help you figure out a name for it. I'm sure you already have one
Yeah.
in mind. So
but
Yeah.
with your help, I'm sure I'll do it this year. When you go, boys.
Hang on,
do
the
it.
other thing, sorry, before we go, what speed do you watch YouTube at?
1.
Really?
I should watch it 1, but I jump.
Oh, okay. Like you hit like 10 seconds, 10
Yeah,
seconds,
yeah,
10 seconds. Oh, yeah.
I see. For me, if it's entertainment, it's 1. If I'm watching something, getting info, 1.25, 1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to have that like slow enjoyment of
Yeah.
entertainment, right?
Exactly.
I think I watch everything at one time, but if they're dragging on really long, then I usually just go 1.5, sometimes even 2. I can't absorb too much information into 2. Just starts becoming too funny to me. Like,
it's just noise.
it's just noise, like a chipmunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Everything entertaining at 1, everything else at 1.5.
1.5 is a good balance.
See, that's
Apparently, Nigel watches at 5 times. Just like,
I don't know how you do it now.
yeah, I don't know how he consumes so much content.
Watch this video in 1.5
Yeah.
times. Anyway, well, I think that wraps up our 6th episode. Thank you for tuning in, everyone, and hope you enjoyed our video. Click the
Peace out.
subscribe button
Subscribe
and ring the
button.
bell.
Wherever it is.
Give us a comment
Somewhere.
if you enjoyed it. Let us know what you want to see next.
Smash that bell button.
Ring that bell.
Ring that bell.
Ring that
Smash
bell.
it.
Ring a ding ding.
All right, catch
Thank
you in
you.
the next
Peace.
Peace out. Stay
Peace
mellow.
out.